It is time now for Compas on the LA. Gilbert, what did you think about the Chargers 31-10 uh, victory over the LA Rams?
Very impressive. I am not used to a Chargers team that doesn't play with their food. To kind of say, they usually make it harder.
Play with their
They like to.
food.
Yeah, that's why I was trying to find something to say. Like, it just
No, that's
felt
a good
like
one.
I said it in House of Horns. Like, it just seems like they're on different levels. And when you're supposed to be a really good team, or a team that's supposed to make noise in the playoffs, when you face a team below you, you treat them that way. You beat them up. And I felt like if it wasn't for McVay and Staley being friends, that game could have easily been 41-10. They kind of let up at the end, but that's what you want to see. Teams on different levels. You're not going anywhere. We're heading the playoffs. We're ready to make noise. So that was very impressive. And the team that I covered for 4 years always waited to the last minute. They kind of just stumbled and fell. One score games, a missed field goal here, an injury just set them back, and they couldn't recover. This team is healthy at the right time. They're peaking at the right time. And Sean McVay was saying all week, like, man, this team's a problem. They're dangerous. And then after they lost them, he was saying, yeah, there was no room for error there. If you mess up once, they're going to pounce on you. They're going to take advantage. And a game could easily become from 10-7 to 31-10 like we saw. So, there's different levels to it. And the Chargers seem like a legit contender that's ready to make noise. I don't know if they're in that Chiefs, Bengals, Bills level, but they're very close.
It's funny because all week Brandon Staley talked about it. The players talked about it. Like Sebastian Joseph Day, Morgan Fox, guys that have been there had said this team is dangerous. They could turn around and punch us right in the mouth if we're not prepared. And the Chargers were prepared for it. I mean, yeah, they gave up, and it's funny because Brandon Staley said there was 3 plays that where we give up major yardage, but other than that, we kept it sealed. And really, they did. They gave up that the what's it called,
The 42
the
yarder
crackback toss to
Cam Akers.
to Cam Akers, the big throw to Justin Jefferson, and there was the
Man
23 yard
Jefferson.
Van Jefferson. Sorry,
They
Van
wish they had
Jefferson.
Justin Jefferson. But we'll get to him later.
Well, he
But
won.
yeah,
He
yeah,
won.
yeah.
He won gritting on over the
Van
weekend.
Jefferson
But
was better than Justin
Van Jefferson,
Jefferson.
Van Jefferson, and then the 23-yard touchdown by Malcolm
Brown, yeah, up the
Brown.
middle.
Yeah. So those were the only 3 plays that really shine. Other than that, the Chargers defense. I mean, Michael Davis, and I'm gonna probably have to eat crow because Michael Davis is playing. No, and I'm serious. Michael Davis is playing well,
Flacco.
man. Asante Samuel Jr. He reminds me so much of his dad. Like he feeds off of the energy that him and the team create. Kyle Van Noy, Morgan Fox, like these guys are really lighting into it.
Can't
But
imagine.
yeah, no.
No,
So
it was just like for me, it was like how many the depth they were coming, and all you
it's crazy.
kept hearing about is like they're multiple. They have different groupings, and like
Yeah.
you see Morgan Fox, and then you see Calvin Noah making a
Do
play,
you
and you
okay?
see
So at one
Lasso.
point they take out Asante Samuel Jr. and they take out Bryce Callahan. They throw Jazier Taylor, a bigger, taller cornerback. So at one point you have 6'2" Michael Davis and you have 6'2" Jazier Taylor out on the field together, and they're defending well. Jazier really hasn't given up much, so it has been interesting to kind of see when they do that kind of stuff. They're different personnel groupings, but it's because Brandon's finally found his footing. Ever since the bye week, I felt like they found their defensive footing. They just needed players to come back, and now that Joey's back, they need one more game to he needs one more game to kind of get into that shape. But if he gets in that shape, they're gonna be their pass rush is gonna be dangerous. And then Derwin comes back. At one point, Gilbert, you could literally rush Morgan Fox, Kyle Van Noy, Khalil Mack, Joey Bosa, and Derwin James. 5 guys that I don't know how you're gonna be able to stop each of them. But I go back to what I've
That's
been
wild.
saying for the past week. Baker Mayfield, you need to stay in LA. Don't leave. This was a rough game for you. This was a game that should have shown you, hey, you know what? Yeah, I've had success the last few weeks, but look, I hit a wall. You just played a good defense. You just played a good team. You need to go back and you need to learn how to you need to keep on learning how to be a quarterback, how to adapt, how to see different things, how to be Justin Herbert knows how to look off a guy. And so they'll bite on it and he'll look a guy off and then turn and go to his progressions, do different things. That's what Matthew Stafford learned how to do with Sean McVay. Those are the things that elevate you to being a good quarterback. I think that's what Baker Mayfield needs. Baker, give it one more year. Just sit behind Matthew Stafford or stay in the LA Rams organization. The Jets are going to come calling you. Other teams are going to come calling. If I was you, I would wait one more year. Just give it 1 year with Sean McVay. Learn and because this was a driver's test course. Like you've only gotten 3 or 4 weeks of this. So I wouldn't. I would if I was him. I would wait 1 more year. But Baker Mayfield, his arm strength is impressive. I think he has something there. But if he could next year play with Tyler Higbee, with Cooper Kupp, with Allen Robinson, with all those weapons that those guys have, I think that he could be even better. But I mean, it'll be his decision if he decides to leave or stay 1 more year and work through it. But if I was him, you have the talent, dude. Just work through it 1 more year, give yourself 1 more year, and then come back and test free agency or maybe stay with the Rams.
Yeah, it's kind of the story of Baker Mayfield. You have one really good game and then kind of like, really subpar game. And I think this game was worse than the Packers game because that one you can kind of just point to the pressure. Like he couldn't get anything going. The Packers were all over him. And I'm not saying the Chargers' pressure wasn't good. It was there. They had a lot of kind of pressure, but then the coverages, they kind of took away everything. He couldn't, like you mentioned, just find that little advantage, like you said, like a little, like even when he was doing a bunch of hitches on that Cam Akers
there's times where the Chargers defenders ease up and they don't hit the quarterback. And I feel like other teams like the Packers, they'll go through and they'll hit the quarterback all the way. So I feel like that's kind of where the Chargers defense needs to grow a little bit more. I think they should go through all the way and hit the quarterback and kind of let him feel like, oh crap, okay, they're coming and they're hitting me. But now that Joey's back, I'm sure that's going to change.
Yeah, I'm sure the pressure is going to pick up, especially like that's a wild thing to me. Like Derwin and Joe are not really playing right now, but I think their defense is very complicated, and you could tell that like Baker was out there trying to read too long. He couldn't decide on the throw he wanted to do. Like on that Cam Akers throw, he hitched like 3 times, and then he saw Cam Akers, and then he found an open guy. It took some time, but Cam Akers dropped the ball. But that's kind of an example there where like he's trying to figure out what's going out there, and maybe another year under McVay and kind of figuring out, okay, what's coming out here? What are people trying to attack me? But it just feels like for Baker, like he has the arm strength, like you mentioned. He makes some great throws. He's mobile enough. It just seems like he has to work harder for it.
Yeah.
With Justin Herbert, it's like it's very smooth. He knows what's out there. He knows how to play the game very quickly. So I think for Baker, he has to figure out that next level where he can adjust much quicker.
And Justin's 6'6", but if you listen to some of the coaches in the press box, one guy, I heard somebody say Baker Mayfield's going to command $40 million. I looked down and I went, my God, I'm like, why? And I feel like the Chargers sometimes punish me sitting me around these people because I just want to lash out and go, what? Why are you sitting me with these people?
Supposedly somebody reported that Geno Smith's going to command $100 million in
the we're just giving money out. I want some. Then you know what?
Play quarterback.
No, left hand. Hit. There we go. I'll have Dan and Dago train me to be offensive line. Hit.
I'll be a receiver.
There you go. There you go.
I can't run a route, but I'll go straight.
You have to gritty though.
Okay, I'll practice.